Okay, so we work under something called as funding for third-party providers. So that means we receive some funding from European Union to do these kind of work with countries which need digital transformation and digitalization. So that's what we are doing uh, usually. So then there needs to be some kind of commitment fee coming in from partnering institution, because if you do things for free, then people will take you for granted and they would not respect your work. So they need to pay some kind of commitment fee. I mean, this is usual in any international arrangements. And then after they pay, we present them with a feasibility report on, okay, what is that they want and where they are and what needs to be done. Once we present the report, then phase 2 will be, okay, how do we achieve what they want with international collaboration? So that's usual business cycle. So to understand it better in a timeline manner, I'm showing the same in timeline now. So first we take feasibility meeting, then the team does research, then we present feasibility report, then we take a phase 2. Phase 2 is in-person meeting, and then we help them on implementing the KPIs. So that's what we do usually. So as a country partner, you are all eligible up to 51% of the revenue for business from your country. Let's say if you're from, let's say, for example, if you're from Malawi or from India or Pakistan or Indonesia, then you are bringing in business from your specific country. Then whatever the commitment fee coming in from the country, you're eligible for up to 51% of the revenue. So far, we had a very successful case study from Ghana. So from Ghana, we had a very good case where there has been a lot of business coming in, and then they took eligible country partner revenue. The same in Botswana as well. So Botswana representative will has brought in the business. So then they are eligible for 51% of the revenue as well. So these are some of the examples when it comes to country partners. The next, I would like to move on to the brand presence. So one important thing when it comes to brand presence is presence on the social media. So I think you all need to be very good in LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is really important. So I would like to recommend the basic principles of not creating conflicts. So one is not posting anything related to religious post, which is very important. And then no political post, because when we are representing, so no political post as well. And also kindly don't give advice to others because it creates conflicts. So don't advise others as well. So this is also really important. And moving on to the performance. The performance, so there is no rush in terms of performance, but it is always good that you try to establish communication with others and then try to bring in people to collaborate with. Usually, there is 1 to 2 months of so-called soft period. So we would check, or we would see how things are. So if there is no new collaboration being formed within 1 to 2 months, then probably it is not that we want to end our collaboration. It is that maybe you can spend your time on something really useful, and we don't want you to feel like you're bounded, so it's really important that you give it a try and see how it goes on for you. And if it's not working, then maybe you can focus on something else. So that's what we would like to say in terms of performance. And just to give some successful case study, as I said, Ghana is a very good example. Botswana is a very good example where country partners have performed really good. So please, there is always opportunity. And Nigeria now really is working good. So we have amazing country partners from Nigeria and Zambia now, Terence is in the call as well. So these are some of the country partners we have been working already and doing amazing jobs. So you can do it. So before I end this presentation, I would really like to show what is that we are offering. So we have a terms of reference sheet. The terms of reference sheet will explain about what is both of us and what are the things that we are working on. And then the terms of reference sheet will say, talk about two phases. Phase one, it will talk about, okay, so we are funded by European Union funding instruments. And also we work on innovation, capacity building, skill set development for youth, and so and so. But then it also talks about, okay, so what is that we are talking? So whatever we are doing in the phase one, it cost us 5,800 euros. But then we get funded by EU, and then we get funded by different agencies. And both of us self-funds this much. So the partnering institution needs to pay between 100 to 300 euros. So that is very low fee. This is called the commitment fee from the partnering institutions. And what are the activities we are involved in is displayed here. So then comes the phase two. And in the phase two, so you can see that the phase two is about implementation phase. Phase one is about analysis and finding out what is needed. In phase two, we have different models, but on overall, phase two again is co-funded. And then the partnering institution needs to pay the commitment fee as well. So then we have this detailed document which explains what are the areas we focus on, what we will do usually, and so on. So that is overall brief. Now I would like to pass it to Dimitra in case if she would like to add something. But I would also like to mention you all will be added to this this group in Slack. So Slack is the tool that we use. So you probably I can try to show you. So this is Slack. So you all will be added in Slack. And then in Slack, usually you can see people. But then I would always recommend whenever you want, please leave a message in the group so someone can help you. And then also we have a WhatsApp group. We will also add you to the WhatsApp group as well. So you can ask anything you need in the group channel. So that's what I would say. And yeah, so over to Dimitra, and also after that over to you guys in case if you have any questions. So thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Kay. Unfortunately, I missed around 5 minutes. I had connection issues, but I'm pretty sure you covered everything on the onboarding. But I think it's better to hear from the country partners if they have any specific questions. So please feel free.
So, can I?
Yeah, okay. So,
should I raise my hand?
Please, please. Maybe let's take George's question first and then we come back to you. Yeah, George, please.
Yeah. Thank you for a nice brief presentation and getting into to get to know both of us. I just want to ask that there's I feel identity at this stage needs to be to our advantage, because though we'll be going through phase 1, but already I can already start to to connect with some of the institutions and partners that I know are working in the digitalization space. And I think we should not be using our own personal emails. I don't know to what extent would this be workable, that we could be given official both of us emails as soon as practical, so that whenever we start now to reach out with feelers while undergoing the phase 1, then people take us seriously and they know that we're not just promoting something that does not have an official basis here.
Yeah, that's a good question, George.
Thank you. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So George, you brought up a very important question. So the next step is probably all of you need to send a nice looking picture of yours, because it's really, really important that you send a very good picture of yours. And then what we will do is we will add you to the website as country partners, because we need the due diligence is really important. People need to understand that you're part of the team, right? So that is very important to show your picture as well. So if you send your picture, then Dimitra will do the magic, and then we will add the brand identity towards your picture, add it to the website. But you can also edit your LinkedIn profile picture as well if you want. Then what happens is you will get an email with your country. For example, in case of yours, George, you will get an email called kenya@bothofus.se or something like that. So then you can use that email, and then you can kind of use it to talk to people, send it over to people. But I would usually not recommend to send email. Instead, what I would really recommend, let's say, for example, in Kisumu, you have this Kisumu Innovation Hub, so
Yes.
so we have been very close friend with Kisumu Director of Youth, Mr. Yang. He's very good friend. So in this case, what I would usually do is I would go to the contacts, and then I would fill in the contact form, like saying, "Hey, we are a European Union funded program, so we would like to talk to you about something which will be very helpful for you." Because we work together with European Union and also with embassies in European Union. For example, European Union Kenyan embassy, and also Madam Diane, the ambassador. We work very close with her from Kenya here. So then you can mention all those things and then use the contact form rather than sending email, because emails might sometime reach spam. You don't want to put your effort into waste, but you will get email. But I'm just giving you some tips here on how to approach as well.
Sure.
So that's the answer to your question. Thank you. We can move to the next question now.
I think, Marin, you had a question?
Yes, please. So I want to find out about the 1 to 2 months trial period. So if I prospect institutions and then they take time around here, people can drag even for 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, just to make sure that I don't know, for whatever reason. So what happens after after 2 months if I'm not able to seal any deal, but I've really spoken to people, to institutions I think that the services can help them, and then they get to respond like 4 months from now?
Yeah, so Ashu, for example, this 1 to 2 month that I mentioned is nothing from our side. It's for your side. So let's say, for example, you want to try for 1 to 2 months, and then if you feel like it's not working, then that's a different story. But in your question, if people might come back to you after 2 to 3 months or something like that, usually the document that I showed here, this document is valid only for 3 months, right? So it changes after every 3 months based on the funding we have. So we need to be aware of that. But if someone comes back after 2 to 3 months or something like that, then it's okay. I mean, you can always talk, and then we can take the meetings together as well. But the 1
Okay.
to 2 month is just for your own personal thing to find out, okay, is this your cup of tea? So if you want to find out, is this something you want to proceed forward? So that's what this 1 to 2 months is for. The 1 to 2 months is not for, okay, we are not going to talk after that to you. You're not, you're not the country partner. No, it's nothing like that. You can still
Okay.
you still be there, but it's for your own professional growth. Yeah.
All right. That's a clarification I needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question from anyone else?
Okay, I had a question. So before I approach the prospective institutions, would we be given any proposal letter to show them?
So this is the TOR for him. So usually when you're approaching the prospecting institution, this is something you can show to them. So this explains, okay, what are we offering and so on, and all the details as well. So recently I had a conversation with the ambassador of European Union for Bangladesh, right? So he mentioned that digitalization and digital transformation is really important. And he also mentioned that, because I presented the same document that I'm showing here to you, I met him last Monday, and he mentioned that this is very well aligned with what they are planning in the nation. And one thing that he mentions repeatedly is digital transformation of institutions. That is something which he mentioned repeatedly. So we will give you this document, and then you can try to explain to people using this document. But if you need any other special letter, because some country might need special letter. In Nigeria, for example, every time a special letter needs to be given saying, we are interested to collaborate with you, so and so, and then we need to sign as well, then that's okay. Then you need to ask what is needed, or if you can draft it, then we will just add it to the letterhead and we will sign it for you. So that's possible as well.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions?
Hi, Kay. I have two questions.
Please.
The first one, maybe I didn't get you clearly on the commitment fee that institutions have to pay. I think I saw between 100 euro to 300 euros. I wanted to find out whether this is the only payment or they would need to pay after the work is concluded. And then secondly, I wanted to find out the time frame of the entire project with one institution, from when the initial feasibility report is presented to them to when we conclude the project.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon. So this is the commitment fee for now is between 100 to 300 euros. And this is what they pay for phase one. So we have two phases, phase one and phase two. In phase one, they pay, let's say, between 100 to 300 euros. And after they pay this, they will get output of, okay, so what can be done? But then phase 2 is about implementation phase. Let's take, for example, we have done a lot of work in different institutions. When we work with innovation hubs or universities, maybe they want to set up a innovation department and so on. So then phase 1 talks a lot about, okay, how can it be done? And then we give them a report of what needs to be done to set up innovation hub and so on. But then phase 2 is actually establishing those innovation hub. Maybe they won't be able to do. So what we do is, we sitting in the European Union, we help them to connect with international actors. We have done this already. For example, in case of Botswana, we sit here, then we talk to European Union ambassador for Botswana or different ambassadors here, then also mobilize foreign direct investment to Botswana. We work with different ministries, but we work with private institutions as well. Even something they are not aware of internally because they are busy in their own work. So then for phase 2, they have to pay. Firstly, phase 2 is optional. They can get in phase 2, or they can say, okay, no, phase 1 is good. We are good with feasibility report and so on. But if they are good with phase 2, and if they want to proceed forward, then there is like a monthly commitment fee. They have to pay every month. And here, there is a minimal binding time. So they can collaborate with us for 6 months, and this is how much they need to pay for 6 months and so on. But before starting phase 2, in some examples, we go and meet them in person. Then we actually meet them in person, and then we kind of customize this and then customize also the payment and so on. So the phase 2 is very customizable. What is really important is the phase 1. And if someone comes through the phase 1, taking them to phase 2 and so on is responsibility of mine. So I take over from phase 1 onwards. But then as a country partner, you are eligible for phase 1 equity as a country partner, and also phase 2 equity on any equity that we work on with those institutions as well. So that's what I would say. I don't know if it's clear for you, Sharon.
Yes, thank you so much, Kay. It's clear now.
Yeah. So you also, any other question? There's anything else that I would like to address? So please. So anyone else has any other questions, or should we try to end the meeting with the ending notes?
If we have time, Kay, maybe I can go through some technicalities, since there are no more questions. Okay, so I can share this document with you later, but I would like to address that it's very important how using the name both of us, it's important to refer how it is properly written like that and avoid something like that. This is for the branding. This is not correct. And something very important that will save a lot of time from both sides is sharing documents in Google Drive. Because if you share a document with me or Kay, for example, in the email, and it's an attachment, a Word document, I might not be able to access it from my computer. I'm using Mac. So this is going to take me time to then send you an email back. I cannot access it. Can we find another way? And like resolve this. Meanwhile, if you have the document on the Google Drive and share it with me, I can easily access it from any device, anytime, with a link, so I can very quickly see the document, do any changes, and like reply back to you. So please, when sharing documents, Word documents especially that needs to be edited, to be through the Google Drive. And in the Google Drive, very importantly, we're using Gmails So that's something very important to distinguish. If you send me an email that I need to read, it needs to be at dimitra@bothofus.sc. It's bothofus.sc, the address. However, if you share with me something in Google Drive, it needs to be my Gmail. Same applies to Kay as well. In the Google Drive, we're not using the both of us emails. So for example, let's say that as a country partner, I have an MOU that I drafted and I wanted to share it with Kay or Dimitra to approve it or do any changes. I'm gonna have the MOU on the Google Drive, share it with the Gmail. This is Kay's Gmail, and Dimitri's Gmail, I will have it accessible. I will share it in the Google Drive with their emails, and then I will write an email at dimitra@bothofus.sc and Kay@bothofus.sc with the email. I hope does not sound confusing and it's clear, but please let me know if there is any confusion around this, because it's very important and it's gonna save time. Another thing is to pass the ownership to Kay so we can have everything organized in the drive and not being documents here and there. Always include subject line in the emails. It is considered a bit unprofessional not having a subject line. People won't be able to see what is it about, and it might end up in spam and we're gonna miss it. I think Kay went through LinkedIn. Also, this is the format that we're using in our signature. I'm going to share this with you so you can add your details and have the logo as well. This is the Both of Us logo. So it's important to use the right one and have in the right format without being pixelated. So for this kind of issues, using logos, please always send me a quick message saying, Dimitra, I need a logo, where I can find it. That's it, more or less. I'm going to share this document with you later, but I wanted to go through that, especially on the Google Drive, to make sure that it is clear. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dimitra. So I think all the documents will be shared with you all who has been in the meeting. Also, you will be given access to Slack as well. So we will all be in Slack. So kindly make sure if you have any question, please feel free to reach us. So before we end this call, I would like to say, please check your email, because you might get an email from Dimitra saying what is needed from our side to start the process. You need to send your profile picture. And also we will send you back this Zoom background, that you are seeing in my background and Dimitra's background and so on. We'll send you these kind of materials along with the materials that we presented as well. And also please do follow in LinkedIn. It's really important that you add company name properly to your profile, because it needs to show your logo, Both of Us logo and everything in your profile. And whenever you would like to share anything from the LinkedIn profile of the company or so, then please feel free to share. For that, you need to firstly follow, so then you can share the repost. Repost is important, because that's the best way of doing advocacy as well. So that's what I would say for now. And before we end this call, maybe I don't know if you would like to turn on your camera so we can take a picture, and this will go in LinkedIn and so on.